Hello everyone, it's Christopher Allen, and this is my very first video tutorial from my brand new craft room. Unfortunately, the lights are kind of low right now because I'm still kind of playing around and figuring out the lighting situation in this new room. It is much larger than my old craft room, and I'm trying to figure out the overhead lighting and the lighting in front of me and the lighting behind. I actually had to turn off a lamp, so we'll get it all figured out and we'll be good to go. Today, what I want to, or tonight, depending on when you're watching this, I want to show you how to create this shaker card. It might be hard to see because I do put all of my cards in these clear plastic whenever I'm going to give them away. And you can see the gravel underneath of the fish shakes and it moves around. And the reason that I created this card today is because I've seen a lot of tutorials and I've seen a lot of how-tos on how to create these cards, but there's a lot of tools, it seems like, that go into them. I've seen there's a lot of different punches, there's a lot of different types of layering, and there's just a lot that seems like it goes into it. There's foam tape that's used, and it's just, every time that I saw it, it just seemed like, you know, who really has time to really put into a really, you know, elaborate shaker card. So I think that this one looks pretty elaborate, and this one didn't take that much time at all. Once you see how to go ahead and create it in Design Space, you'll see that it is great. I mean, it's very easy to go ahead and put the circle in, and it's going to be really fun to show you what I use for the inside of the shaker. So we're going to go ahead, we're going to head over to the computer, and I'm going to show you how to design everything, and then I will show you how to put it together. See you in a minute. Alright everyone, in order to go ahead and create this shaker card, we first want to figure out what we are going to use for the background, or for what is going to be the actual shaker part. For this card, I actually decided to use a fishbowl because I thought that the fishbowl would lend, you know, kind of a creative spin on the shaker and the sequins that we're going to put inside of the shaker. And we'll go ahead and we will pull up our first image. What I did is I just went to Insert Images, and I first looked for a fishbowl. Now, to create this exact card that I'm creating right now, you will need a subscription, but you are able to create anything you would like with any type of SVGs that you have, or any type of other shaker, depending on what you want to, you know, do here. So first what I did was I went ahead and I found my fishbowl. Now, this fishbowl we need to size, so we'll go up to Edit, and I want my height to be about 5 inches. So we'll put 4.75 because that is the height of my, 4.75, because the height of my card is going to be 5 inches, and then it is 7 inches wide. So we want to go ahead and we want to size that, and what we'll do is we'll go over to our Layers tab, and we do not need the seaweed, the gravel, or the sand, or the water right now. All we need is our circle cut out of this shape. So what I'm using, and I'll show you this in our next segment, is actually the outside packaging of some tape. That is the easiest way that I can think of to do this. The tape, obviously, we all purchased tons of tape, tons of different types of decorative tapes, and that outside portion made it super duper easy for me to go ahead and apply this on there. So I went ahead and I measured my tape, outside tape packaging, and it was 2.5 inches. So that would be, of course, 2.5 inches. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert image, and I'm just going to pull up a circle. Now, once I pull up this circle, I'm going to want to make it just slightly larger, just very slightly larger than the actual circle that I'm going to be putting in. So we'll do 2.6 inches. And I love with Design Space and also with the Cricut Explore that these layers and these sizes are very true to size. Sometimes with the other machines we weren't getting the size that was exactly what we were putting in, So I'm very excited to say that any of the sizing that I've done has been spot on. So now that we have this circle in the center where we want it, we'll go ahead and we'll hit select all, and we will go over to our layers tab and hit attach. Now what this attaching is going to do is it's going to make sure that this circle is cut out from the center of this fishbowl, which is what we want because we're going to go ahead and put the tape packaging inside of there. Okay, so what we'll do is, since this is the first layer that we need, we would go ahead and we would hit go, and we're going to cut out our first layer. This project's going to be a little bit different than regular layering projects because we're doing these separately. So now let's pretend that we cut that out. So we hit go and it cuts that out, and I will show you in the next segment what that will look like. Now what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to detach these two pieces so that our circle can move around again, but we do not want to move it. And what we'll do is we'll slide on over here and we want to hide our fishbowl. Now that circle is going to stay in the exact same place that we had it, and then we'll pull up our water. Now, since our water was on the same plane as our fishbowl, all of this is going to be able to be cut out, and it will be exactly what we need for the inside water piece and the outside water piece around the fishbowl. So what we'll do is we'll hit select all again, and we hit attach. Now, it's going to look like this water that's behind here is not being cut out, but it is. This shape is covering up that cut, but I promise you, whenever you cut it out on the mat, that water is going to cut out behind here as well, and you're going to have the piece that goes inside of this circle. Now, we're going to hit go again, and we're going to cut this out of the coordinating color that we would like for the inside of the fishbowl. We'll again pretend that we cut that out, and we'll go ahead and we will detach these as well. Now for the next pieces. I actually did not cut out this gravel. That is completely your choice. If you want to cut out the gravel, that's great. I didn't feel the need for it because it was going to be covered up mostly by my sequins. So the gravel we do not need, so we'll go ahead and close that out, and we do need the seaweed. So we'll go ahead and we'll pull this up. This is sized perfectly. We will hit go, and we will cut out our seaweed from the color that we need. It's just that simple. You can do this on quite a few different things that would have circles in the center. If you have like a 50th birthday, 40th birthday, 30th birthday coming up, it would be great to do the 3 and then the 0 and then have the shaker inside of the 0 and maybe put a birthday cake. So there's lots and lots of different variations of what you can do. This is just the one that I wanted to show today. Now, one other thing that I want to show you is I actually went ahead and for the fish on the outside, I just typed in fish, and I picked the fish. It's a goldfish that's right here. I went ahead and I inserted it, and based upon the size of my circle, I went ahead and I sized it at 1 inch. And there's our little fish. So what will happen here is I actually cut this little fish out of vinyl. And the reason I did that is because I wanted to have some dimension to the card. There's already a ton of dimension, obviously, because of the shaker portion, obviously the 3D portion, but I wanted this fish to be on the outside of the glass, and even though it doesn't look like it's on the outside of the glass, it looks like it's actually kind of swimming. And I'll show you that when we actually go ahead and create the card. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and jump over to my workstation, and I'm going to show you how to put this together. All right, everyone, here we are at my craft table. And I told you that I wanted to show you before we got started how these pieces are going to cut out. As you can see here, this is where we put our circle and attached it, and the circle did cut out in the center. So we'll want to discard this circle or put it in our scraps to use later. Now the second piece is a little bit more intricate. As you can see here, this is the full circle that we cut out in the center. We can discard this piece because we do not need it. We can throw that away. And we want to keep this piece for the center and this piece for the outside. And then I'll show you our other pieces once we get started. First and foremost, what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to take a piece of paper that we cut out that we like for the background that is a little bit smaller than the piece that, it's a little bit smaller than our card base. Now, as you all probably saw in one of my previous videos, I do not really love the ATG gun just because it's so big, but I am using it now for bigger things, you know, like larger areas that I'm covering, or for some not as delicate pieces that I'm putting down. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to put down this card base here, or put down this piece on our card base, and then we're good there. So now what we want to do is we want to go ahead, and I did tell you that I was going to show you these as well. These are actually from packaging from some tape that I purchased. It's the tape obviously is inside of here. You pull it off and you have this piece. I have tons of these laying around from different tapes that I've bought, different sizes. These ones are actually 2.5 inches, so that's why we did the 2.6 inches for these. So what we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to place this fishbowl on the front of the card where we think that we are going to want to have it, where we want it to be placed. And what we'll do is we'll take the inside piece of this water and we'll place that inside of the center here where we would like it. And that is going to give us a guide for where we're going to put our circle. So we'll take this piece, this little blue piece, and I still have my trusty smaller one for when I'm doing smaller things, because I still have not 100% fallen in love with that ATG gun. So we'll put this here, and we'll line that up again, and we put this right in the center where the water is going to go. Make sure that we have that exactly where we want it, and it's completely up to you. Again, this is your card. If it's a little bit off, it's completely, you know, it's again your creation. So pull this off, and that's exactly where we want our water to be. So what we'll do now is we want to go ahead and we want to attach our seaweed. Now you can put, again, anything that you want in here. It's completely up to you. Your imagination can run wild. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use my Zig two-way glue pen here and just put very quickly a little bit of glue on our seaweed, and we will go ahead and flip over our seaweed and just place it wherever we think we want it here. So easy. Now what we'll do is we'll take our sequins, or whatever you want to put inside. You can put glitter, you can put whatever you would like, and we're just going to place those right there in the center of our water. I'm going to make sure that we have that all on the center there. And what we'll do now is we'll take our little piece here, and I'm going to use for this some of the Elmer's Craft Bond glue. You can use, you know, whatever glue you like. Eileen's makes a great glue, of course. It's been around absolutely forever. You can use some E6000. I mean, you can use whatever glue you like the best for this portion. It just needs to be something that's going to kind of tack this down, because we're going to actually be putting a piece over top of this as well. So it doesn't need to be necessarily something that's going to hold this completely down. So what we do now is we go ahead and we place this around that portion so that we can still see the water, but we don't want to see the edges of the water. And what we'll do now is we can wipe off some of that excess glue. I don't like to use a lot of wet glue because I always get it everywhere. So, but in this project, I unfortunately have to use the wet glue. So now we can see here that we want to press that down, and you don't want to shake anything until this is dry. You can, although, go ahead and turn your card this way to at least bring it down, but you don't want to do any shaking until this is all dry, because it will stick around the edges. Now our next step is we're going to take our actual little fishbowl here. We're going to take some of our adhesive and just go around the edges here very simply and easily. Again, this is completely up to your preference. However you would like to glue this down, you are more than welcome to do that. You can use, of course, the pen. In my case, I like to just use this snail glue, and of course we just put that around there, and how fun is that? So now this is on here and ready to go. Now we need our water. So what I'm going to do is I'll use the two-way glue, Zig two-way glue on this one, just because I want to make sure that those edges are really done well. Go around all of our edges, and now go ahead and we want to place this around the outside. Now on this fishbowl there are some little guides for me that show me, you know, where the edges are supposed to be, and we'll just go ahead and we'll glue that around there. So there's the makings of our card here. So we'll go ahead and make sure that's all pushed down, and now we need our little fish. So this was actually done with vinyl. Again, like I said, I wanted to do the vinyl so that we could see the fish on the outside. So what I'm going to do is we'll take my favorite type of transfer paper that I've shown in quite a few of my videos, that magic cover paper that we can get right at the Dollar Tree. Go ahead and pull that off of there, place that on top, do a very, very quick burnishing because this is a smaller piece, so it's not something that needs super duper burnished down. Make sure we get all of the edges. I'm noticing with some of these different colors of vinyl that I've gotten that some of them are a little bit stickier, and some of them it just depends on the vinyl, I guess. Then we'll go ahead and we'll place our fish up here so he looks like he's kind of swimming there. And all you have to do is kind of burnish that down with your finger because it is going to stick perfectly. Now one thing that I did notice is the static electricity that we get from pulling up that transfer tape is going to pull your sequins up a little bit. It'll make them rise up a little bit. Don't worry about that. They will, once the static electricity leaves, which is very quickly there, after lifting that up, you will not have that static anymore, and these will drop down. So that's something that I noticed whenever I started doing this, and it'll go away, don't worry. It went away on my first one. So now we're going to go ahead and use our transfer tape again, place that on top. A lot of these techniques that I'm showing you are techniques that I have shown in previous videos. So if you want a little bit of a more in-depth vinyl, you want me to show you a little bit more in depth how to do the vinyl work or anything like that, you can go ahead and you can click and see some of those other videos. Now for some reason this little stripe here did not transfer in the correct place from whenever it cut out. I'm not sure why. So very easy, just grab that vinyl, place it back in the right place, and we're good to go. Vinyl, I've learned, is very forgiving unless it's outdoor vinyl. Outdoor vinyl, unfortunately, it does like to stick to itself. So there is our finished card. I told you it was easy peasy, and it's very impressive whenever you would give this to a friend. What I'm going to do is I always go ahead and I take these clear plastic, these are by Doris, and this is a 5 1/4 by 7 1/4 bag, and I go ahead whenever I'm finished with the card and I'll place this inside of this bag so that it is protected while it's drying. And we'll flip this over and take this off, fold this over, and now we have a great card to give to someone so that they can use to give to someone else. So I hope you liked this tutorial today on how to do the shaker card. If you would like any other shaker cards or any other ideas that you have, I would be more than happy to create those for you, but it was just as easy as that. Thank you and have a great day. Bye.